Dear students, welcome to lecture 3 on random networks, and we will continue our discussions on evolution of random networks. In last lecture, we looked into various regimes that random networks exhibit as average k is increased, and the two most important points that we identified were first one was critical point and another was supercritical regime. And in this video, we will try to look into some of the aspects that why average k equal to 1 is so special for us. And second question, we would look into why average k equal to log n is so special. Now if you recall, what happens when average k equal to 1? We see that there is a critical point and something like phase transition happens. Similarly, if you see that when average k is equal to log n, a connected regime emerges, and we want to look into some of the mathematical aspects that why this happens. So let us begin answering question 1, that why kn is so important. Now let us change this question, that can we identify a k when size of largest connected component or giant cluster becomes non-zero. We realize that when k is less than 1 or average k is less than 1, you would expect many fragments, and on an average size of the largest connected component would be 0 or giant component would vanish. And we want to understand when s becomes not equal to 0. What is that first point? And we will say that s is equal to number of nodes in the largest connected component divided by total number of nodes. And we will also define a number u which when added to s becomes 1. So if s is the probability of finding a node in connected component, u is exactly opposite of it, that u is probability of not finding a node in a connected component. And in this lecture our emphasis would be on u. Now let us think of an example, that you are this guy who is seeing some persons playing here. They are playing in some green field and they are all connected to each other, and that's why they are playing. And you have some friends with whom you are standing here on the side and watching these guys and just having a conversation. Now what are the ways in which you would not become part of the giant cluster? So we want to understand that. So there are only two ways. So this particular guy would not become part of the largest cluster if it is talking to a node j, which itself is not a part of a giant cluster, not a part of GC. I will use GC as short form of giant cluster. So this is what is happening. And probability that this particular guy is not a part of giant cluster is u, as we just saw. And probability that you will interact with this particular guy in a random network would be of possibility p, so it would be pu. Or you do not interact with this guy who is part of a giant cluster, and probability of that happening is 1 minus p. So if you focus only on one node j, so this j either has to be isolated from giant cluster if you do not want to be a part of the largest connected component or GC, or this particular guy, if he is present here, let's say he also goes and starts playing with them, so you should not be connected to this particular person, and that can happen with possibility of p. So second option is j is part of GC but not connected to I. And you need to maintain the same relationship that you are maintaining with j with all other nodes. So your probability of not becoming part of GC is equal to PU plus 1 minus P. Why we are adding? Because this is either this or that, and that this should happen with all possible n minus 1 other nodes, and this is also the probability of not becoming part of GC, which is also equal to U. So we can say that U is equal to PU plus 1 minus P raised to power n minus 1. Now we will simplify this. We will focus on this particular relationship and see that if we can get to average k equal to 1 condition that we are running behind. What we will do, we'll take log on both sides and we'll say that log of u is equal to 1 minus p plus pu and its logarithm, and this would be raised to power n minus 1. As soon as we take log, this n minus 1 would come outside, so we can say that log of u is equal to n minus 1 into 1 minus p plus pu. We also know that for random network, p can be written as p equal to average k upon n minus 1, which implies log of u is equal to n minus 1 into 1 minus average k upon n minus 1 plus average k upon n minus 1 times u. And okay, so here I missed a log, and here we will also have a log, and this n minus 1 has come out. Now we will again use the same trick that we know that when x is less than 1, the expansion of log of 1 plus x can be written as x minus x square by 2 plus x cube by 3 and so on. And when x is very much less than 1, which is definitely the case here, because our average k is much lesser than the number of nodes that we are dealing with, because we are very much near to the tipping point at least, or we are very much near to the critical point here, and hence these terms will vanish, and hence we can write log of u as n minus 1, and this would come as a minus sign, and we will write this as average k n minus 1 plus average k n minus 1 multiplied by u. So now we will again simplify this expression. So log of u would be given by n minus 1 times minus of average k upon n minus 1 into 1 minus u, and this would cancel out. So we can say that ln u is equal to minus k 1 minus u. Now what we will do, we'll take anti-log on both sides, and that will give us u is equal to e raised to power minus average k into 1 minus u. And we know that u plus s is equal to 1, which implies s is equal to 1 minus u. The reason we are going behind s, because we are interested in the solution of s, or the first point where s becomes non-zero and the equation is solvable. So what we will do, we'll substitute this s equal to 1 minus u in this equation, and we will have u is equal to 1 minus s, and hence 1 minus s equal to e raised to power minus k 1 minus 1 minus s, or this becomes 1 minus s is equal to e raised to power minus k times s, which implies s is equal to 1 minus e raised to power minus k upon s. Now this particular equation, although looks very simple, this cannot be solved analytically, and the only way to solve it is graphical method. So what we do in graphical method, that on y-axis we will have the value of s, and hence if you look at so on x-axis we will have value of s, and here we will have a value of y, and let us say that we are interested in solving the equation y equal to 1 minus e raised to power minus ks. and this would be the solution corresponding to y equal to s. And what we observe graphically, that is when k is less than 1, this curve would go somewhere like something like this. This is for average k, let us say 0.5. When k is equal to 1.5, this curve will intersect y equal to s, and that would be the solution. So this is for k equal to average k equal to 1.5. And what we see is that when k is equal to exactly equal to 1, we see that these solutions start emerging. That is the for the first time this y equal to s becomes tangent to the curve traced when average k equal to 1, and hence we say that only after average k becomes equal to 1 we get to see the non-trivial solution for s, and we call this particular characteristic when k equal to 1 as the transition or critical point. Now in next video we will go back to our two questions. So we have answered that why this average k equal to 1 equal to so special. Of course I could have skipped the math easily, but I wanted to give you a flavor of that why this average k equal to 1 is so important in the entire theory of random networks, and hence having little bit of mathematical background would not be bad at this point. Now in next video we'll move to our second question, where I'll talk about why average k equal to log n is so special.